So the program now has been running for 10 years, and over that time it's had a remarkable impact and has evolved, appropriately evolved. So by engaging Portuguese universities internationally, CMU is a very international university, I think it's raised the profile of the Portuguese universities and also raised the ambition and the achievements in the international setting in ICT. And in a way that was the first thing, to get the graduate students looking at things that way, the faculty involving and so on. But of course things change over time. So first it was the training and the research performance that was the issue. As we move forward, then we start to think more in terms of, and how do you take that forward into innovation and raise the enterprise agenda and build that into what is done in universities and what the students experience and so on. And this second phase has had that as a very, very marked aspect. So we've seen some excellent research that has been mutually beneficial to all of the participants. Everyone has learned, including Carnegie Mellon has learned and acknowledges it's benefited from the engagement with Portugal. We've seen also, I think, the way in which research is conducted here to change, and also the recognition that even from the outset you can think, who might benefit from this? How might our society benefit from this? And of course that's in the nature of ICT, that it can pervade all of society. So I've been involved in an advisory or evaluation capacity over the time. I've seen remarkable developments, really very, very exciting to see what's come from it. We now have unquestionably world-class research in ICT occurring in our universities. There was good research before, but it's now taken to that different level in a different way. We have people who've been brought up to realize that innovation follows naturally from research and that they are mutually beneficial to one another. So what would be good next? Well, Portugal has benefited from this, but ideally we would like both the society and the economy of Portugal to gain maximum benefit. So I can't say what the next step would be, but I would think that the sort of things I would be starting to look for and to measure is, okay, so where are the differences? Where are the jobs in Singapore? Where are the high-level jobs in Singapore? Where are the companies that are coming from this? And we're seeing the seeds of that. We've seen some very, very interesting startups that are getting going. That will certainly help shape the economy, and I suspect that there would be both an expectation and an enthusiasm for something along those lines. And that's really, really important in ICT, because it's quite distinctive. ICT is a very, very important sector in its own right, and a country can be strong in ICT, but it also is pervasive. It pervades every area of the economy, every area of the society. So if you want to be good, you need to be good in ICT. So it's a very distinctive program in that sense. So far on this visit, I've seen only 2 projects. They are good research, innovation and enterprise projects in the language that I would use. They have good research. They are drawing on the best research and are contributing new knowledge in that sense. But they are framed in a way to address a challenge that we would recognize from our everyday lives, that the world is changing and how can we address some of those changes. So they address real needs of society or real opportunities in industry. They are internationally collaborative. They're building teams, so it's not the individual researcher doing their pet project, it's very much the activities of the whole, and they're very much informed by needs of society. It's a trend around the world, but it's really good that Portugal got it in early with this high ambition activity of this nature. So if you look back at where we are now, 10 years ago we had not quite had the financial crisis of 2008. So some economies have really bought into it after 2008, saying we must be different. Other parts of the world are just starting later. But before the financial crisis came, not motivated by it, motivated by the recognition that we should look for more out of research, should set our sights high and so on. But in that sense it was early, because the seeds had been planted. Otherwise I think the response to the financial crisis would have had to have been different in the universities. The universities would have suffered more I believe, but because they were engaged with these activities, the value could immediately be perceived and the government could commit to continue funding this because of its potential importance for society. I would say that I have seen that evolve also. So it's in the nature of things that the more you interact with others, the more you benefit and the more you learn. So I have seen the organisation evolve, the way it's done, the community has been built. In the recent years when I've come, we've always linked the visit of the External Review Committee to the symposium that is taking, the conference that is taking place, where we see the participants engaging, interacting with one another, the international participation, and it's done at a very, very professional standard, very professional indeed. So that's a change that we've seen. In terms of the way the projects run, I think I would say some of that is true also. Early on, there were people sceptical. Well, we're very good, we're universities, why do we need this? No, and there was some justification, they were good, but we can always benefit. And real benefit comes from these strong international interactions. The research that is done is more recognized. It's a recognized pattern around the world that if you do research yourself in your laboratory, it's recognized to a degree. If you collaborate with others, it's better and gets more attention. And if you collaborate internationally, then the impact of what you do is recognized to a higher level. And we're seeing that in the performance as measured through publications, through citations, through follow-on activities. So yeah, I think this has been a visionary program, a bold decision by Portugal to engage in it. And some people took more time than others to engage with it, but I think now the value is really being perceived.